So let me flip back over to the text editor, select all the code here from the archive.php file and copy it. Then create a new file in my theme directory called author.php and go ahead and paste in this code. Now this way it'll have the header, the HTML, and the loop all set up correctly, and then we can just add our changes that we want to make to it to customize this particular page. Now I mentioned before that the archive.php had multiple titles, and it had some PHP conditionals set up to check which kind of an archive page it was. Well, anytime author.php gets invoked, it's going to be an author template, and we all know what the title should be already. So there's no need for all these different titles, all this different piece of code. I'm going to go ahead and delete the conditionals, delete all the checks, and just leave the single title that we will want on our author template pages. We'll leave just this one, the first title example, and change the text from entries tagged as to something more like entries authored by. And instead of showing the category or tag name, we'll show the author's display name there. And before we can write out the display name, we've actually got to set up the author information. This page knows who the author is, but it doesn't have all the information that WordPress stores about each author available for it. WordPress captures a large number of information about each user: first name, last name, URLs, logins, a number of other pieces of information. If you scroll down, there's a section here called Setting Up for Author Information. It gives you this piece of code, which we can copy and paste. It needs to go before the loop, which is where we want it, because we want to print out some author information above the loop. I would just put it up right below the header, so after it calls the header, it can set up this information. It'll create an object called curAuth, which means current author, and that object has a number of values in it. One variable for each piece of information that WordPress has about that author. Switching back over to the codex, it's going to list all those variables that are available. You can see there's a large number of data available for each user. And the one we want to display here is the display name. This is the name that you set up in WordPress that gets displayed on that post link that we pasted in earlier, and it's also what gets displayed in WordPress when it says "Howdy, Randy Hoyt." So I'm going to paste in this variable here. So instead of writing the category name up there, it's going to write the author display name. So there, we've changed our header to say entries authored by Randy Hoyt on this page. Now that's a pretty good start, but we want to add a little bit more information about the author. I think it'd be good to put the author's biographical information right above that heading. So up above the heading, I'm going to just type in some HTML. The exact HTML you need depends on your theme. The way I'm doing it, it should be just the same HTML that your theme uses around post content. With cutline, that's adding a div with a class of entry, and then a paragraph inside of that. I'll copy this PHP code for outputting the author's display name. We'll want to display something different, but this will be a good way just to make sure we've got everything set up right. So paste that in. Switch back over to the site, and we should expect to see the display name right there above the title, which we do. Hooray! Switching back over to the codex article, we can see all the different information. The second one there is description. That's what captures the field labeled biographical info in WordPress. So I'll copy that and paste that in here. Flip back over and you can see the biographical information right there above the heading. And you can edit your biographical info in WordPress by clicking on your name there at the top, and it'll take you to your profile page, and that field is down there here at the bottom. One of my favorite notes in WordPress says, share a little biographical information to fill out your profile. This may be shown publicly. Now with most themes it isn't shown publicly, but the changes that we've made to our theme now make it so that this biographical info is displayed publicly. Now the description is nice, but it'd be even better if we could include a photo of the author next to that description. Now, inside the WordPress interface, you can't attach a photo to a user. You can use the Gravatar system that's built in, but that's an external system, and it doesn't give me as much control as I would like over my author photos as an editor. So I found a great plugin that handles this. If you do a Google search for WordPress user photo, should be the first result. It's a great plugin that has a lot of great features, including the ability for approval, so you can set it up so that authors can upload their own photos, but they have to be approved by an administrator before they're allowed to appear on the site. Now, I've already installed this plugin, or uploaded this plugin to my Journey to the Sea plugins folder. Let me go ahead through the interface and activate it. Once it's activated, you'll get a new menu item under the Settings menu. You can set up here the thumbnail sizes that you want, the approval, permission rules, and you can even set it up so that it works with the Gravatar system as a fallback if they don't have a user photo. Now I go back to my profile and you'll see the Your Photo field here at the bottom. Attaching a photo to a user is just like attaching a document to an email. You pick it, you hit save, and when the page reloads, it's uploaded the images and resized it according to the sizes you specified under the settings. Now that I've got my photo attached to my user, I'll need to go get some code for including that photo then in my theme. User photo page has 4 really nice functions for including the photo, but those are primarily used inside the loop. Well, we're not inside the loop, so we're going to have to get something different. It's a very well documented plugin with all kinds of scenarios for where you might want to include the thumbnails. And one of them here says if you want to display a user's photo on their author page, you may do this. Well, that's exactly what we want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that code then, so that we can use it on the author.php file that we're editing. I'm going to paste it right here in front of the description. Now to get it to look exactly right and to match the theme, I'm going to need to add some custom CSS. Now this presentation, it's beyond the scope to cover how to write CSS, but I'm going to show you where you would add it. If you already do know CSS, this will be helpful. Most of the styles for a given theme are in a file called style.css. So I'm going to open that up and scroll to the bottom. That's usually where I add my custom code if I'm editing a theme. User photo works well with CSS. It comes with, or it adds a class to the photos automatically called photo. So you can write any custom CSS rules you want simply by writing .photo and then specifying the code. I'm going to float the image left and add some margin on the right side and the bottom side so that it fits in with the theme nicely. Flip back over to the site, reload the page, and now you can see my beautiful photo there next to my biographical information.